fans watch this video, they probably have watched your new commercial. So you got a group of people like featuring in your new commercial. What do they mean to you?
Well, I think a lot of the people that are in this commercial are either people I've met or interacted with or have been big supporters of my career thus far, whether it was, me from a young age or, my college coach or Travis Scott, who came to a game when I was in college. He came to senior night. I love it. He brought some crazy energy on senior night, or the Kelsey brothers who supported me, honestly, in college and even now professionally. So just a lot of different people that have really tuned in and really supported women's basketball, and then obviously specifically my career. So it's really fun to have them a part of this.
A recent interview with Caitlin Clark has surfaced, and it is currently going viral on social media. Recently, Clark made contact with a Chinese podcaster and revealed information that totally caught her fan following off guard. This discussion went well beyond the standard Q&A format with prepared answers. She revealed plans that caught everyone off surprise, and the implications for her career and the global women's basketball scene are truly immense. The conversation is already creating a lot of excitement on a global level, and the overwhelming response will make perfect sense once you learn what she actually said. Have you ever seen someone casually mention plans for the future that completely changed your opinion of where they are going? The statements Clark revealed during this Chinese podcast interview will drastically change how people view her career path moving forward. So please share your thoughts in the comments.
我们在黑暗中重新开始这个问题。
In China, like people started to notice you when you were in Iowa or either in Indiana Fevers. But when people started to notice you, you already a dominant player, a winner already. But let's go back to the beginning of your basketball journey. Is there any moment you feel like basketball is a little bit challenging for you, or you're born to be a winner, you never feel like that?
That's a great question. Honestly, I feel like there's obviously a lot of challenging moments throughout my career. I feel like I probably always had a lot of natural skill, but I also wanted to get a lot better at it. So I always found ways to challenge myself. So that's probably when I felt the most challenge, is when I would, whether it was a hard workout or a bad game or something like that. I feel like you find ways to challenge yourself within those moments. But I would probably say I always kind of had a natural skill for it and just a knack for basketball, but I also really loved it and wanted to get better at it.
Got you. So mostly you are born.
It appears that Caitlin Clark appeared in footage created by Taller Tong, a Chinese YouTuber. Additionally, there are a number of interesting aspects to this discussion. First of all, the fact that a Chinese media figure was able to have a conversation with Clark shows just how widespread her fame has become. Here, we're not referring to ESPN or any other significant American broadcasting behemoth. This acknowledges that Clark's sphere of influence extends well beyond American borders and serves as an international platform. According to reports, the interviewer keeps up links with prominent basketball figures, citing discussions with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Cooper Flagg, and Kawhi Leonard. Therefore, this person is more than just a hobbyist with recording gear. Securing Caitlin Clark was their top objective, and this reflects someone who is very connected inside elite basketball circles. That straightforward fact says a lot about her current position in the sport.
常人难以想象的压力，成为全世界的女篮门面，到底是一种什么样的感觉？
We talked about the past, we talked about the present, now let's talk about the future. I think you inspired a lot of girls in China, more and more attentions for women's basketball in China right now. A lot of young girls, they attribute their interest to basketball, of basketball to you.
That's cool.
So how you feel about that?
That's pretty cool. And obviously China's not a place I've ever been to, but I know I'll be there very soon. And I think that's super exciting. And I think having that type of reach is something that also has an impact on me. Like, you get to inspire so many different people, so many people from different walks of life, but they all love the same thing. They love basketball and they love getting to watch it and become better at it. And that's exactly like kind of what my story was. I always just wanted to be better. I loved watching it. I wanted to put a lot of time into improving my game. So hopefully I'm inspiring a lot of people in China, especially the young boys and girls, to want to really invest a lot of time to be as great as they can be.
In New Highs podcast, you mentioned the trip to Italy and Croatia.
Yeah.
I promise the trip to China
It will
would be
the best
impressive.
One of the most impactful parts of the discussion was when the host described Clark as the WNBA, the NCAA's miracle, and basically the future of women's basketball. There is real depth to the assessment, even though it may sound like typical interview flattery. This is where things start to become really interesting. Some young male kids look up to Caitlin Clark. Allow that statement to register completely. Young males are choosing a WNBA player as their main role model while they have access to every NBA superstar. That is entirely unexplored territory. Think carefully about the consequences. Women's basketball players were respected in previous generations, but they weren't the main source of motivation for young male sportsmen. Even the dominant and well-known Diana Taurasi didn't have young guys imitating her skills on the local court, but Clark certainly does. That is more than just advancement. This signifies a fundamental shift in the way society views women's basketball and female athletes in general. A good observation was provided by the comments that examined the interview. Whether it's men's, women's, NBA, WNBA, EuroLeague, or any other level of competition, the league affiliation is meaningless. Without the peculiar restrictions and qualifiers that usually precede discussions about women's athletics, viewers are finally starting to realize that quality basketball is quality basketball. Clark is being praised as an exceptional player without any qualifications, rather than as an exceptional player given her gender.
与之前的高中以及 NCAA 有什么不同？
You've been in WNBA for 2 years, Rookie of the Year, the captain of the All-Star team. And so how would you describe the past 2 years?
Man, I think they've first of all gone like really fast. I think I've had a lot of like pinch me moments because like this is the stage I always wanted to be on, and then getting to do it in front of like sold out crowds every single night, whether you're at home or you're on the road, I think is really incredible and probably than most places. So I think that's really special. And yeah, I think there's a lot of many exciting years ahead.
A comparison between 2013 and 2016, Steph Curry, is particularly precise. Remember the days when every young player on every outdoor court was trying to make three-pointers from ridiculous distances because they looked up to Steph? With Clark, that same cultural moment is taking place. Emerging players are currently researching her strategy and trying to incorporate elements of it into their own personal growth. That stands for real influence, significant impact, and actively changing the sports culture. However, when future plans were brought up, the interview reached its most fascinating point. The host mentioned how women's basketball is getting more attention in China and how Clark has inspired many girls there. Genuinely gifted female basketball talents are currently being developed in China. Furthermore, it seems that the best player in the Chinese league is only 22 years old. Thus, a whole generation of talent is developing. Then Clark brought something that caught everyone's attention right away. Although I have never visited China, I am certain that I will do so very soon. Hold on. What? Is she planning a trip to China? That isn't a casual vacation comment. It sounds like there are already established plans. Is this a promotional journey during the off-season? Is she being sent abroad by Nike to promote women's basketball? Does she run basketball training camps? Although the interview did not define very soon, her assured delivery implies that plans have already been made. Clark went on to explain that having that kind of reach affects me as well. Like you have the opportunity to motivate a wide range of individuals. There are a lot of people from all backgrounds, but they all have a passion for basketball and enjoy watching and improving their skills. This indicates that Clark is aware that her impact extends far beyond the borders of the United States. She is thinking about her influence on a global scale, which is exactly what you would expect from someone who is developing into a transcendent athlete. She is not content to merely serve as the WNBA's domestic face. She is becoming known as a global spokesperson for women's basketball. Additionally, Clark's basketball tastes are significant. Jeremy Lin is reportedly her favorite male basketball player. Examining her archival tweets from around 2014 to 2016 reveals that she frequently expressed her adoration for Jeremy Lin. Given that she is currently taking part in an interview focused on her influence in China, that connection is humorous. Lin gained enormous popularity throughout Asian markets and clearly experienced Linsanity. Clark is currently aiming for a similar path of global impact. An important aspect of how Clark's rise has affected other WNBA rivals was also included in the interview analysis. Players like Aho Wilson, Breanna Stewart, Ariogle, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull have all seen a boost in recognition, in part because more people started watching Caitlin Clark play in the WNBA. Those fans later learned that there are many amazing athletes in the league. Kennedy Carter's widely shared hip check on Clark contributed to her further notoriety. After that occurrence, people started to watch her perform and realized she was a true elite defender. That is the normal course of events. Fans discover all the other talent in the league when one player grabs their attention. It shouldn't matter how you enter. What counts is keeping them with good basketball. The analysis's expression of frustration is also valid. Some individuals in WNBA media circles appear to believe that Clark's influence is somehow less genuine. The analysis's concern about defensive breakdown is also thought-provoking. Which teams, instead of just continuously fouling Caitlin Clark, have managed to contain her with proper defensive execution? The Connecticut Sun's defensive approach, in which they effectively physically punished her for the duration of games, was mentioned, and officials allowed it to go on. That isn't a defense. That's just refs permitting one player to be physically abused. However, there is a much shorter list of actual defensive strategies that used positioning and tactical tactics to neutralize her. It appears that the Las Vegas Aces were somewhat successful in protecting her without using physical force, which would have brought criticism. However, the fact that so few teams have figured out how to control Clark within the rules just serves to highlight how difficult it is to do so. Her popularity stems from more than just her story or charisma. She is well-liked due to her extraordinary basketball skills. Clark's influence is also linked to the finding that WNBA tickets are less expensive than NBA tickets. For a portion of an NBA game, families looking for live basketball entertainment during the summer can bring their kids to watch Caitlin Clark. Due to its cost, more young fans are being exposed to women's basketball during their formative years. These kids will grow up looking up to WNBA players, which will completely change how people view women's sports. Clark's remarks about motivating girls all over China and her intention to travel there shortly show that she understands her role in taking the game global. Basketball has a huge market in China. Over the past 10 years, the NBA has made a significant commitment to building fan base. The WNBA has enormous potential for growth, sponsorships, and TV deals if it can establish a presence in that market. Furthermore, Clark is in a position to represent that global expansion. The analogy to Stephen Curry's impact is spot on since Curry completely changed the way basketball is played at all levels of competition. Teams started emphasizing perimeter shooting and spacing over traditional interior-focused tactics as younger players started making more three-pointers. Curry's strategy served as the model for modern off. For women's basketball, Clark has the potential to achieve something similar. Not just in terms of playing style, but also in terms of how the sport is marketed, enjoyed, and valued globally. It's not just what Clark said that makes this Chinese podcast discussion noteworthy. It's the very fact that the discussion took place. Speaking with her was prioritized by a Chinese content producer with extensive connections. Her global influence and her plans to travel to China were highlighted in the interview. This marks the start of Clark's transformation from an American basketball star to a global sports hero. That has a completely other level of impact. It is an undeniable sign of a societal shift that young boys are choosing Clark as their basketball idol. For many years, male fans respected female athletes but did not aspire to be like them. Clark is spearheading the breakdown of that barrier. When both boys and girls see a female athlete as someone to aspire to be like, it's progress that transcends traditional sports into broader societal viewpoints. Clark exhibits maturity above her years by being aware of her influence and reach. She talks about motivating people from all backgrounds who are all passionate about basketball. That's a person who understands that their contribution goes beyond personal success. She's not only vying for titles or numbers. She is vying for everyone who can relate to her experience or finds inspiration in her act. The plans to travel to China in the near future are significant because they show that Clark and her team are consciously planning to raise her profile globally. This isn't happening at random. Partnerships are being formed, appearances are being planned, and coordination is taking place. In addition to representing the WNBA, Clark is being positioned as a global spokesperson for women's basketball. Both the platform and the opportunity are significantly larger. In an interview with a Chinese podcaster, Caitlin Clark reveals that she is thinking about her influence and planning overseas appearances that might change how women's basketball is viewed globally. Young athletes from many cultural backgrounds are already inspired by her influence, and her planned trip to China suggests that this is just the start of her global reach. For more updates on Clark's global expansion, hit the like button and subscribe.